Hello, you wonderful people. Welcome to this Jupiter moving into Taurus special with me, Raphael, on behalf of course, the wonderful Nadiya Shah. I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you for tuning in to watch this. And I just want to say a massive shout out. I'm having a bit of a crazy fanboy moment at this moment in time because this is a really big deal for me. And I'm so very honored and humbled to be able to be featured on such an amazing platform of personal and spiritual growth and obviously amazing astrology. So I count myself very lucky, and I really hope that I can bring you guys something that you can use on a practical level and something that you're going to enjoy as well. All right. So I am Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's my pleasure to be here with you, and we're going to get into the Jupiter moving into Taurus transit, but I'm going to be looking at this from an AstroTarot perspective. So if you know anything about astrology, which obviously you do, that's why you're here, right? If you know anything about tarot, you'll know that these two systems, these wonderful systems, have a very symbiotic relationship, and they can really help inform and infuse each other with some really amazing insights. So let's get into it. So for Jupiter, we are looking at Jupiter in terms of its ancient perspective and also its modern perspective. So as a ruler of Sagittarius, Jupiter is a fiery energy, it's a day energy, it's a masculine energy, whereas Jupiter in its Piscean energy, as it's the ancient ruler of Pisces, or its watery energy, or its night essence, or its feminine essence, if you like. So we know Jupiter to be a lord of expansion, of luck, of growth. It's also known, as many of you know by now, the greater benefic. So it brings a figure of abundance and blessings with it. It's also in the guise of its masculine or fiery energy of Sagittarius. It's the teacher, it's the sage, right? The guru in some way, shape, or form, the lawmaker, the energy of integrity. It's also the wise teacher and philosopher who teaches or leads by example, and therefore kind of shows us how to have that kind of integrity. So Jupiter is also an energy of light. It's an energy of right. And it's also the energy of triumph of light over darkness in a sense. And of course, in this fiery energy, it's somewhat exuberant, right? The ability to kind of lacks the ability to rein it in a little bit, right? We get that whole larger than life trope that we associate with Jupiter. But it really is at base level that energy of hope and optimism and joy that expands, that infuses us with the ability to believe in something bigger and higher for ourselves, for our lifescape, and also for the people that we love and care about. Now, in the higher mind and the philosophical aspect of Jupiter, what we're really looking at here is how we get to the greatest version of ourselves through what we aspire to, right? So teachers and gurus and the like and coaches, they show us how to take the knowledge that we acquire and give it a shape and a form. Now, in his nightly energy or his feminine expression in the water sign of Pisces, it's the spiritual and the boundless energy of Pisces. We come into Jupiter as the spiritual energy in that water realm, all right? We come into Jupiter as the spiritual energy that infuses and informs everything. It's kind of like, in a sense, the when we talk about Jupiter not necessarily knowing how to rein it in, and we think about Pisces as a sign, that boundary-less kind of energy that just goes where everything melds into each other and into itself as well. Now the sky itself, as you know, is certainly to the ancients, they believed it was limitless. It just went on and on and on, and obviously we know different now. But Jupiter and that kind of Piscean trope, they definitely overlap. So this energy is very much about external and material growth, but it's also about the transmutation of the inner faculties and resources that we have that need to take place in order to hold a vibration that's vast enough that eventually spills up and over and out of us, so that it goes out into the world, right? And it starts to come out of that sky realm of imagination or the future and into the real world. So in a sense, Jupiter has an energy here of cohesion. It's about bringing something from within, something that we envision, that we hope for, that we strive towards, that then starts to materialize and proliferate in the material world. After all, true wisdom is knowledge applied, right? It's the knowledge that we get, we actually put it to some kind of use. Now, when we're talking about Taurus, we are talking about the feminine earth sign, which is a fixed sign. So Taurus to me is kind of like the epitome of earth, because earth is slow moving, it takes its time, it's patient, it's nourishing, but it really is a slow moving energy. And when you think about the fixed quality within astrology, that's something that is rigid, it holds true. So to me, Taurus is like the epitome of earth, even more so than Capricorn, right? Like there's a stubbornness to both sides, and I say that out of all love. I've got two Capricorn sisters. My granddad was a Capricorn, a universe rest him. But there's a more stubborn energy within the energy of Taurus, and not necessarily in a bad way. So the earthy, practical, sensual sign of Taurus that also rules our environment, the earth herself, is Taurian energy. Now, Taurus is a stabilizing energy. It gives body and substance to things. It's through this sensual realm that the earthly embodiment is really kind of found. It's through that sort of it's in that Taurus energy that we find pleasure, sensuality, money, resources, all manner of practical and tangible goods that are considered valuable to us, right? Maybe for our lives, maybe for our experience, or maybe just for the pleasure of it. Now, this is an energy of possession. So when I say an energy of possession, not necessarily in like this is mine, not kind of like Gollum in the Lord of the Rings, right? But more in a case or a sense of what we have, right? What I'm working towards, right? Taurus is sometimes seen as like a very self-centered energy, and it's not so much about being selfish. It's more concerned with what it wants because of what it likes and what it understands to be its needs. This is an energy of endurance, sustained effort that moves slowly and gathers and accumulates its energy and the things that it desires and requires over time. The energy of Taurus is, effectively kind of what we desire on that material plane, how to get it, how to keep it, and also how to maintain what is found in that space. It's a slow and steady and patient energy, and it is a really relaxed, traditional energy. Taurus is a very traditional sign. I mean, I think all of the fixed signs are, in a sense, even if they don't necessarily present that way at first. It really is, it's being that traditional kind of energy. There's a time for everything. We take our time to savor and enjoy what's available to us, and also the journey towards getting it. If there's one thing I can definitely say about Taurians, they have a really great work ethic, and a lot of them will just go and go at something until, until it's achieved. Being fixed earth, this is going to slow things down, right? It's not going to necessarily be just about quantity, but also by quality. And one of the reasons for that is because obviously Taurus is a sign that's ruled by Venus. Venus likes nice things, good things, pretty things, beautiful things, pleasurable things. Now, Jupiter in Taurus is likely to show up for us in some really interesting and some really wonderful ways. This combination might bring an integrity back to money. That worth and value and cost come into line with the energy of Jupiter's integrity. Jupiter being the lawmaker. So I wonder if there's new laws that come to pass in terms of the environment, what's allowed, what's not. I mean, we're already seeing this at the moment, especially with that Uranian element moving through Taurus. How we bring integrity back to farming, to animal care, to raising our animals. Jupiter represents healing and also future vision. So prophecy, if you will. And what this really kind of says to me is that there's likely to be a need and a drive towards bringing more kinder, integrity-based farming and practices to, into the world sphere, which I think is a really good thing, and it's definitely something that's been overdue. I also feel like this might present us with an ability to accumulate and improve whatever we desire in line with where this falls in our own chart. So whichever house this is in for you, that's where you can really lean in to make slow, steady progress that's going to really build and accumulate and just get better and better with time and with age. As Jupiter represents making things better than they were, this area of our chart is likely to be giving us, or at least helping us, believe in more possibility about what we can do, what we can be, what we can achieve, especially in that area that, you know, that Taurus rules in our chart. There's a hopeful energy that comes into this space. And, you know, especially for the next year, if we can really envision it, right? If we can really look out into the future, but steadily create more stable and beautiful energy in our lives that we can build on, then we really create a better version of ourselves and also, you know, a better version of the world. Now, the house placement is definitely likely to be where large gifts, blessings of all kinds, certainly opportunities. Jupiter is the lord of opportunity. I'm not as polite about about how that can show up sometimes sometimes when I speak in my own work. But I want to be respectful and use good language and, you know, really connect to as many of you as possible. So where helpful people or even higher ups, dignitaries, they're people that can go to the bat for us, provide us with the help that we need, especially on a path to accumulating or improving what we desire. So to say that this could be a lucrative transit for all of us is absolutely true. Especially if you know how to lean into that particular area of life that is being expanded and grown by Jupiter for you. Now, in terms of cards, I know you're thinking, where's the tarot, Raph? Right? It's coming, I promise. So in terms of cards or tarot cards that we would speak to, or that would speak to this transit, what we would be looking at would be the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. It is, I mean, if you look on the card, right, you see the big guy right there. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is a really interesting card. They all are in some way, shape, or form. And what I like particularly about this, especially this transit, Jupiter is moving into the sign of Taurus. And if you look on here, you can see the winged bull, and that actually represents the four animals on this card, literally represent the fixed signs of the zodiac. So Aquarius, that's the angel, the eagle, that's Scorpio, the griffin or the lion, that's Leo, and then you've got the bull, the winged bull, that's Taurus. So I really like the fact that the cards actually speak directly to this, right? And, you know, this does suggest that there are going to be some big changes on the horizon for all of us. The card that represents Taurus in the tarot is the Hierophant card. And at first, it's not always sort of, you know, obvious. But when you start to really get into it, you start to really understand it a bit more. So Jupiter is represented by the Wheel of Fortune, as I said. I like to remind my clients when this shows up that we're never always on top of the wheel. We're never always at the bottom of it, right? And that's the whole sort of process of the Wheel of Fortune. We go up, we come down, and it's a never-ending cycle and spiral. And that's not to say when you go down, sometimes that things just literally slow down, not necessarily that, you know, we have to have a tumble. If that's needed for our soul and our, you know, our mind to grow and to evolve, then possibly. But we're never always down and we're never always up, right? So this is, it's a wonderful reminder. Now, this is a once in 12-year transit. Think back to 2011, 2010, 2011. What was happening for you around that time? What was growing for you? What were you coming into? What could you feel experiences of blessings with? The Wheel of Fortune is a blessing card, and it often shows up when we're about to experience the kind of break or luck or change that we've needed or desired for some time. And, you know, I think for a lot of us, this will be welcome news, right? You can see the correlation to Jupiter because it's so much more than that. It's not just about luck, but the Wheel of Fortune really is in essence the truest form of karma. It represents the opportunities or the, you know, the fortune that comes for us, and, you know, maybe speeds up and maybe slows down at any given moment. Now, when we add this to the Hierophant, what we start to see is we see our own spiritual practices and our faith start to inform a much higher path for us as we, moving forward. Now, I'm going to come back to that slightly in a bit. The Hierophant is an energy of tradition, rules, structure, it's society, and the acceptable kind of vernacular. But all of these are formed through the energy or the guise of tradition. And when you think about what's acceptable is only really sort of deemed acceptable by us all collectively, because we have a moral code that we kind of adhere to over the process of time. So something becomes a norm or it becomes a tradition. So this card can speak to sustenance and furtherance of things. It rules corporations, larger governing bodies, and as such, it's the external component to the High Priestess. So he is known as, so the Hierophant actually means revealer of sacred knowledge, right? Or of sacred things. And the High Priestess is that spiritual knowledge and wisdom, whereas the Hierophant basically says, now that we know this, we bring it to the world by building things, rituals, routines, processes, traditions that help us keep everything into some kind of balance, tradition and orthodoxy, and even maintenance of structures and rules and regulations are kind of some of what we have here. Now, the structures and the power of traditions that come from, well, the structures of power form routines. And so these can provide us with shelter, with comfort, stability, Jupiter being in the energy, or should I say Jupiter being the energy of integrity. It's likely to change things in a big way, especially because over this sort of next 12 months, especially because he's going to come into contact with Uranus in the sky. Now, this for me really does speak to the energy of reversals of fortune, absolutely. The changing of oligarchical structures, the changing or maybe the dismantling of certain larger institutional practices that aren't very kind to the environment, that maybe don't serve the whole as as a collective in some way, shape or form. It might be that people demand fairer wages. I mean, we're seeing this now in the world, right? It's an employees market. For the first time in history, people are able to ask for more of what they want through and with their work, and they are really more in the driving seat than they've ever been, which is a good thing, I believe. I mean, maybe that's my Aquarius sun sign speaking there, but I think fairness and equality should absolutely reign supreme. And I wonder if this brings a rightness to this combination, right? It brings a rightness and an integrity back to money and the exchange of money and goods and resources. It's not going to bring world peace overnight. Nothing ever does. But I do believe, and Jupiter being a word that is operative when we talk about belief, that the future of the world and the Earth is definitely going to be brighter and better for this transit. I really, really do. So what might the combination say, right? I definitely feel like we will want greener spaces. This might see us really bringing the outside in, more of the external world, more plants and flowers coming into the home, more green spaces in cities, with an emphasis on living with and in accordance with nature in a much more sort of settled kind of way. Now, I think we'll also be seeing more buildings getting, and more buildings getting, I know in, I think it's Japan, they've got a lot of buildings where there's like greenery and grass and stuff that grows like onto and kind of into the buildings. I think it's amazing. Potentially new materials or natural practices that hang on to, to the energy of Taurus, right? We're talking about endurance. So things that are built to last. We start to go back towards, okay, do we want something that kind of fulfills us now, or do we want something that's going to stand the test of time? And Taurus is definitely a stand the test of time kind of energy. I would like to see better homes being built for sure. It could also bring some overindulgence. It is Jupiter after all, and it is the sign of Taurus. So this is an energy of potentially like extreme luxury, right? Now, what's really interesting as well is that later this year, Venus is going to go into a retrograde in the sign of Leo from around July 22nd into like September 3rd, which means that Venus and Jupiter are going to connect 3 times. Now, while these are the benefics of the solar system, there is a possibility for us to really overdo something here, like really, right? And it's kind of like, you know, if you have your favorite dessert and then someone squeezes like really sweet, sugary sauce on top of that, and it's like, okay, now it's a bit too much sweetness, and it kind of, you know, there comes a point where we need a little bit of salt to kind of balance that out. So, you know, Venus is chocolate and sweet things. Jupiter, you know, has a sweet tooth as well and loves things like honey. And in the end, what we get is, you know, something that's way too sweet and, you know, potentially over the top. It will be a square, which in itself is a challenge energy. And what I like to say about squares is it's an energy that creates enough friction or agitation within you to say, you know what, I'm done with this experience. I'm going to do something to change it. So, you know, in essence, sometimes too much of a good thing can be a bit of a bad thing. But at the same time, it may provide us with what we need to say, okay, you know what, I've overindulged a lot here in this area of my life, and now I need to rein it back a little bit. So how might this play out for each one of the signs? Remember to check in for your ascendant on this one because it's likely to be the most accurate. If you're a very late degree rising sign, listen to both your rising sign and the following sign. If you're a very early degree of your rising sign, then listen to the sign before because it's likely to, you know, to somewhat be relevant. So as an example, see how they speak to you, watch how it plays out. And that way you start to get an understanding of what your own sweet spot is. So as myself, I am a very late Leo ascendant with Sun in Aquarius. Yes, it's a lot of fun, right? But the older I get, the more I can definitely feel that Virgo energy kind of creeping in. I'll never be a Virgo rising, right? Unless we're looking at a progress chart, but that's for a whole other topic. But I hope that really kind of helps you illustrate the point. I can definitely feel that Virgo flavor shaping up and permeating through my life in many ways. But I totally understand that I am, me and my theatrical self, definitely a Leo ascendant. So for the 12 signs, Aries, for you, this is going to be happening in your second house, right? The second house of money, finances, personal values, and possessions are found in this space. It might also be about how you feel about yourself on a deep sort of level. You start to find more appreciation for yourself. And what I always say to a lot of my clients and the people that I work with, how you feel about yourself, how much you appreciate and value yourself is directly proportionate to the amount of money that you can pull in and earn from whatever it is that you offer this world, whether that's through your own business, whether it's through a side hustle or a product that you create, whether it's through your job, you know, all of those things really, really important. So the greater your earning potential will be through this transit for sure. You got to lean into it though. Lots of people say, well, I had a Jupiter transit and, you know, no money fell from the sky. And it's like, okay, did you wait for it to just fall from the sky? You got to work it. You've got to do something with it. And when you work with the energy, things become much easier. It's a great time to consider the integrity of what you offer to this world. Do you value it enough? And does it provide value to other people truly? And if you can figure that out for yourself, what you gain from this can be absolutely marvelous. So Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces. So it's the ruler of your 9th house of higher education, wisdom, philosophy, foreign travel. So it's possible money could come to you through foreign travel or international connections in some way, potentially even through educational pursuits. So maybe you decide to up level your skills right now, right? I'm going to get that degree. I'm going to go for the top spot. Like I'm going to get sort of, you know, not just bossed up, but, you know, clued up, right? I'm going to gain new knowledge that's absolutely going to help me amplify what I can learn from here on in. Now, as the ruler of your 12th house, it's possible that a past opportunity, so the 12th house is the past, opportunities is Jupiter, might come back into your life. And it's like this time around, it's absolutely viable. You can, it's helping you create more wealth, providing a stronger sense of being able to accumulate what you desire over time. So this could be a wonderful transit for everybody. I truly believe that. But your card, and before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for you, my dear Aries, this transit brings you the High Priestess. So this basically, the High Priestess, aside from all of her other things, are two things. One, the power of our own intuition and our gut instincts, our impressions, thoughts, and dreams. This card actually links very powerfully to the 12th house energy of, of the chart, and also that visionary sort of energy of Jupiter. So I really like the way that this has come up. But it also represents hidden things revealed. And the 12th house is a hidden space. It's a liminal space. Now, even though this is happening in your second house of money, finances, and resources, there's a chance here that something comes from a space that you don't expect. It's an opportunity that shows up that you kind of don't expect. And you're like, okay, wow, I can't believe I didn't see this or spot this before. So something comes to light around money, finances, and resources, and it improves from there on in. For Taurus, this is your transit, my friends. This is it, right? Taurus, this is the first house. So if you're a Taurus rising, this is you. You are getting a boost. Now, the cosmos, we are not the cosmos, but we definitely are a big part of it. And we are interacting with it. We have free will, we have agency to make a choice at any given moment. And for that reason, I genuinely believe that when we have a first house transit, we're not totally in control, but we definitely get a modicum of control to co-create with the universe to say, this is where I want to take this. This is where I would like this to go. So with that said, mind, body, and spirit, right? When you think about like your image, how you present to the world, your organic machinery that you walk around this wonderful earth with, where do you want to go? Where are you ready to grow in your life, to expand, like to find the cohesion between your inner and outer realities? Because that's what this is going to help you do, especially because, Jupiter's the ruler of your 8th house and your 11th house as well. Now, it represents the energy of faith and belief and lightness. That means that this transit for you can create more internal space than you ever thought possible. It will bring a vastness to that inner self. It might be able to show you to how to have faith and belief in yourself, and maybe like help you find a belief in yourself that you never had before, right? It could even see you growing into yourself, like through a pregnant, growing into yourself as well. It expands. So fair warning with this is Jupiter moving through the first house and actually the 6th house can really expand the waistline. So just be mindful of that. But expanding your waistline could come through a pregnancy if you're a woman, right? It could also be through a job. It could be through a marriage. It could be some kind of spiritual study or even a community. So a small heads up, right? Just a small heads up. Keep that in mind about the potential for weight gain, but it could just as easily expand your prominence. It could make you more magnetic. It could make people just really gravitate towards you because you've got that sort of exuberance about you. Now, as the ruler of your 8th house of transformation, it might bring a deep and profound healing of how you see yourself. It could really help you transmute or transform, a wound, a trauma, maybe something that has kind of stopped you, like a fear in the background. Jupiter is lightness and it's protection and it's, healing as well. So it could really help you see yourself in a much brighter way and be ready to shine from within in ways that maybe you haven't for a long time. As the ruler of your 11th, it could increase the gains that you get from your work, your career, or your business. If you're not working, this would be through your communities. If you've got a business, social media for you is going to be it's a powerful tool for any business. But because this happens in your, because it rules your 11th house and it's in your sign, this is giving you the ability to go viral, to get something out there and have it really be seen. For that reason, you've got to lean into it, all right? You've got to use it. You've got to do something with it. Your card, my dear Taurians, you'll never guess what it is. It's the Hierophant, right? Like literally. So this isn't the same card that I pulled earlier. I have a specific deck that I use for presenting. So the fact that you've pulled your own card for this transit has me just like I'm totally geeking out about it. And what this suggests is you are going to go through a process over this next 12 months of re-establishing exactly who you are, redefining who you are out in the world, and becoming your own legacy, becoming something that stands the test of time in line with exactly how you see yourself, and ready to share with the world all of who you are like never before. So, so excited. For the Geminis amongst you. Gemini, for you, this is happening in your 12th house. Now, you are very, very lucky to be having this transit. For me, or as I understand it through research and understanding, Jupiter moving through the 12th house is what we call true guardian angel energy, right? It is the energy of spirituality and prophecy, and it can bring you help, healing, prophetic dreams. So in the 12th house, we find sleep, we find the liminal world, we find the other world, as I like to call it. And the 12th house in the chart, I see this as the space in the chart that houses the doorway through which we connect to the higher realms, to the spiritual realms, to the worlds that go beyond the one that we can see. It can, also be our, past life energy. If you're a believer, I totally am. It can also really speak to the energy of your self-sabotaging tendencies, the things where we trip ourselves up. The 12th house is also kind of like it's both the collective and the personal closet, right? It's where you kind of the 8th and the 12th, but the 12th for sure. So it's kind of a space that you really do want to keep clear and clean, and Jupiter coming into this space is really going to help this. It's probably going to give you great dreams, prophetic dreams, prophecy, or future vision in some way is going to be totally possible now. In the house of sleep, dreams, and the bedroom, it's possible that all of these things can find you. And it's kind of like I don't want to say get reckless, but it's kind of a bit like an angel's wing that kind of comes in and says, yeah, you know what, I've got you. You're going to be all right. So, Jupiter is also protection. Which suggests that the protection that you're getting comes from the unseen world, or maybe even, Jupiter, higher ups, dignitaries, etc. People are working on your behalf. People are promoting you in places that you don't even know it's happening. People are defending you when you can't hear what people are saying behind your back, etc. All of this is totally possible. I like this for spiritual healing and a powerful expansion of your own psychic awareness and gifts. As the ruler of your 7th, this could very well expand your personal one-to-one connections. So if you've got a partner, a husband, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a wife, etc., maybe you have more than one partner. Jupiter likes proliferation, and if you're so inclined and you are that enlightened and evolved, then maybe you have more than one person to date. Now, in contractual matters, fairness, integrity, larger transactions and gifts can come through partners, connections, or contractors. This could even be, let's say you work with somebody freelance, right? You do such a good job and they're like, wow, you know what? I loved what you did. Here's a little extra bonus. And you're like, wow, okay, I just did my job. So, it could be something like that. As the ruler of your 10th house of Sagittarius, this could be a connection with someone from the past. Sorry, yes, it would be your 10th house. No, sorry, you're as ruler of Pisces in your 10th house, whereas, in the 7th house, it would actually be Sagittarius energy. My apologies. I just wanted to clear that up. Now, as the ruler of your 10th, this could also be a connection with somebody from the past who wishes to kind of remain anonymous, but they help you grow in prominence out there in the world, or potentially a spiritual favor that feels like a message, right? So I kind of love that. Now, for this, you have the Two of Pentacles, right? So in a lot of ways, this transit for you, I think I think for you guys, this is going to be about how you bring all of the spiritual knowledge and wisdom, how you get everything from that intangible world, from those dreams, those impressions, those thoughts, those feelings, and bring it into the real world. And that's going to be about you finding a balance between the material and the spiritual, more so I think for you than any of the other signs, actually, because it's in that 12th house. So for you, Cancer, this is happening in your 11th house. You're going to find Jupiter providing you with abundant opportunities to connect with people from all over the place, potentially all over the globe, right? You're going to find your own prominence starting to expand. So maybe you grow a social media presence, maybe, and quicker or bigger than you expected was even possible. Maybe you find a group of friends that help you grow, because the 11th house is our communities, but it's also our friends, right? And maybe you find that because of their nourishment and their connection to you at a soul level, it assists you in reaching higher, further, and being bolder than you sort of ever kind of dared to before, and going for what it is that you really, really want. Now, Jupiter itself is vision and faith and prophecy, as I say. So those two things, those are two things that it takes to achieve something big and in the future. And the 11th house is the house of higher aspirations, goals, and dreams, things that are way beyond what we have now, but they call us forward. They demand that we follow them. So, in this regard as well, it's the ruler of your 6th house of your body. So it comes through a group that you work with on bodily things, right? Maybe you start to, like, if you've ever taken a massage course or anything like that, you start learning and working on all of your peers, right? You just jump straight in, and that's where you start working. Maybe a teacher or a coach, because Jupiter rules your 9th house as well, supports you on your journey on a wellness journey, on a healing journey. Maybe you find somebody who comes into your life as a healer, but ends up staying as a friend, or vice versa. Maybe a friend has a discipline of some sort that they can do, and you say, look, you know what, I think it's time that I come to see you, on a more sort of professional level. Possibly even a job arises for some of you in a foreign land, or possibly with animals or the natural world. Now, as Jupiter is going to be in a sextile to your sign throughout this whole transit, and he already loves the sign, Jupiter exalts in the sign of Cancer. So he's going to provide you with a lot of opportunities to grow. The thing about a sextile is, it is an opportunity, but you have to do something with it. So the example I like to give is, let's say you see something glistening out of your eye. You're like, okay, it could be anything. It could be a piece of rubbish, but then you get over there and it's like, oh wow, you know what? I found a diamond. You got to go over to it and dig through to see what it is actually happening, right? So sextiles are opportunities. For you, my dear Cancerians, my lunar brothers and sisters, I have a Cancer moon, you have the Ace of Swords. And what this really suggests to me is that not only are you making a definite decision, but you have a meeting, an interview, or a connection on a very official kind of level that is going to change everything for you. There's a connection or a contract in this somewhere that I think really just absolutely, enhances your lifescape. So for Leo, my ascendant brothers and sisters, this is happening for you in your 10th house, the most visible part of your chart. This is, you are about to be shown favor, adoration, the nectar of Leos. Now, there is a duality to every sign. I completely acknowledge that. Not all Leos are theatrical like myself. There is what I like to call the silent dignity type. There's that type of Leo. They're a bit more reserved. They're a bit more sort of, like the regal kind of energy. Darling. Right. And what I like to call the silent dignity type, they love all of that, but at the same time, they really need to be appreciated and respected. And that's something that all Leos, sun, moon, or ascendant, that's a space within you that really requires and desires appreciation, more than most other things, right? So this is definitely going to raise your profile. It's the most visible part of you. how you present to the world, your legacy out in the world, what you bring to the world, where you shine, your career, your your marital status is all 10th house stuff. So you're getting a shining growth spurt of expansion, attraction, and growth itself, potentially abundance as well, that's going to bring dignitaries, potentially as well. If you have your own business, maybe you get a celebrity client. It might also be that you have a large gift or a status change. So let's say you're a tenant and you buy a house, that's a status change. Let's say you're single and you get partnered, that's a status change. And because it's Jupiter, it's likely to be a status change for the better. It's helping you shine bright enough to be noticed. And, this might also give you the belief in yourself to step out onto the stage in some way, shape, or form, if, especially if you're one of those more silent dignity types of Leos. So I love this for you. Now, as ruler of the 5th house, maybe working with children or as a teacher, if you're already a teacher, this is going to be wonderful for you. It could be amazing, right? Maybe you get an award or some kind of recognition for your work. It could be that you gain a more creative perspective on what you do, whatever it is, right? Whether you're employed by somebody else, whether you work for yourself. Maybe you find romance through the career. The 5th house is also a very lucky space in the chart. So windfalls and gifts of all forms are absolutely possible. As the ruler of Pisces, it rules your 8th house. Now, this is a deeper, more spiritual understanding kind of element in the chart. And it's a more spiritual understanding of your legacy in the world, right? So Jupiter is in the 10th, ruling your 8th house. It's potentially bringing that energy in to say, maybe we can bring a more spiritual understanding to, this is the work that I do, and this is where my purpose and my work actually connect. I love this for healing your reputation. And even if that's only on an inward level, right? Let's say maybe you're a little down on yourself, or you're not, your self-talk is like, well, I can't do that, or I can't be that, or I can't have that. Maybe this helps you kind of, put that aside and say, actually, you can do and be and have anything that you really desire, especially if you're willing to put the work in, right? If you're willing to do that hard work. And this isn't even Saturn, right? It's Jupiter. So it's going to be, it'll be hard work, but it's not going to be like, ugh, like the blood, sweat, and tears. So I love this, especially for any sort of client work that you do. And it also helps you expand the money that you gain from others, because the 8th house, which Jupiter rules for you, even though it's in the 10th, it's potentially bringing new money or new opportunities to make money from or through other people. For Leo, you have the 4 of Cups. Snap out of your funk. This is going to help you do it. This is going to help you really start to see that the chains and the shackles are off. And I will say, with the 4 of Cups, some kind of emotional healing may take place for you when it comes to your career. Maybe you thought certain things, I'm never going to be able to do this, or I'll never achieve that, or whatever it might be. And then all of a sudden you find yourself just like, okay, you know what, I'm ready for it. And the other thing with the 4 of Cups as well, it often says to us what you need in order to go where you want or to have what you desire at that emotional level is actually closer at hand than you realize. So for Virgo, this is happening for you in the 9th house. You guys are another one of the lucky, lucky, lucky signs. This energy for you, it's not only Jupiter, who has a natural affinity to the 9th house, because the 9th house is Sagittarius energy. It's also a fellow earth sign, and it's in this fellow earth sign of Taurus. So for this whole 12 months, it's going to be offering you a harmonious energy flow to your own sign that you can access, that you can do something with. Now, a future-looking house, higher beliefs, philosophies, and wisdom, the space of foreign travel. It's also the house of legalities. And so if you've had any challenges or issues of a legal nature, this could absolutely grease the wheels to having it sort of really evolve in a way that is beneficial to you, that actually kind of sees you going, you know what, I'm glad this happened, because look at everything that I got from it. Now, this in ancient astrology was known as the house of God. So you could find a new spiritual belief or spiritual belief structure or system. You could find a new way to deepen your connection to the divine. Jupiter is faith, it is hope, it is optimism, it is a very spiritual energy, it is a very lofty energy. So you could find religion, spirituality, you could really find new opportunities to travel here, to expand your horizons in some way, to, you know, especially through foreign connections. So you might be learning something new, you know, from that travel more, you know, and maybe taking it in at a much more powerful level than ever before. I love this for finding inner wisdom and the courage to go for something that offers you a bigger life than potentially you've ever dreamed possible. Now, it is also being the house of legal matters. If you've got any pending, as I said, this could really help you. As the ruler of your fourth house, this could bring children. Doesn't have to be your children. It could just bring more children into the family. Could see your house expanding. Maybe you put an extension on. Maybe you move to a bigger, more luxurious house. All very possible. And potentially you do this in another country or in a place that's foreign to you. Maybe the style of the house is more luxurious. It could also potentially bring healing, right, to the family life and to your emotional hang-ups around your childhood. They might really find resolution and healing there, especially if you've had challenges with, you know, family members. Now, as the ruler of your seventh house, partnership, professional, personal, or platonic, may give you a gift beyond imagining, right? Jupiter, large gifts, things that come in that you're like, wow, you know, like this is a blessing. It does suggest that there are easier connections here. And when you're working with people one-on-one, you could find happiness and light that comes into your world through these connections, that maybe even good news that, you know, through or about your partner, you know, could find you at this time. So for you guys, you have the Emperor, establishing new laws for yourself, right? Establishing a new sense of security and foundation for yourself, really finding a way to be your own sovereign. From that internal space is the Emperor for you. And what this also suggests as well, because it's the ninth house of higher education, the Emperor rules schools, universities, etc. I mean, universities and PhDs is more the Hierophant energy, but the Hierophant plays into this because it's happening in Taurus. So for those of you Virgos, I can definitely see a lot of you going on to study something new and potentially something that you, because it's the Emperor, right? So you would study this and you would become very good at it. Now, in the eighth house of, for Libra, sorry, for Librans, this for you guys is happening in your eighth house of death, transformation, rebirth, the taboo energies of life. Jupiter is greasing the wheels to provide you with the lightness that you need to heal. If you've got any wounds or deep traumas, any kind of PTSD, he's not only giving you the strength, but the vision of healing that you desire is going to take on a greater and a much more vast possibility for you. For the guys among you, this could bring the power or the ability of foresight or vision, you know, like as in prophecy. For the women among you, this may reveal a healing ability that you can use to help yourself or to help others. Now, I urge all of you, right? In fact, sun, moon, or ascendant Librans, especially the ascendant though, try some form of energy work or healing method, whether it's studying it, whether it's having it for yourself. Especially over this transit, the results that you get for yourself or for others could be truly awe-inspiring. Now, if you've got any legal matters to attend to around inheritance or estates, etc., Jupiter might provide a smoother, sort of more temperate energy around this. The eighth house is other people's money. So, you know, this could also be you getting a financial boost through the connections that you have to other people. If you've got your own business, especially, this could be a great transit for you pulling in more money. Now, as the ruler of your third house, your prominence and connection might grow within your local area, maybe gain new clients, new insights, potentially new work. If you have siblings, they could help you in some way increase your earning potential, or maybe even you mend a rift with a sibling, right? Especially if it's been a deep wound between you and a sibling, that 8th house energy. Now, as the ruler of your 6th house, Jupiter in the 8th is bringing a much better working relationship to your world. The 6th house can be the grind, it's the maintenance, and it's also potentially enemies, right? So if you've had any issues with colleagues, co-workers, this transit could help really smooth that off. For this, you have the 6 of Cups, like literally getting back to better times, right? Going back to a time where things were good, things moved, they were free flowing and easy. And the thing with the 6 of Cups as well, this is a card that speaks to siblings. So if you have them, they could absolutely help you at this time. And because it's the 6 of Cups, this does suggest that you can bring an energy of healing to a memory that you have to rephrase or reframe something. For Scorpio, for you guys, this is happening in your 7th house. This is Jupiter creating a whole lot more opportunities to connect with others on that one-to-one basis. So if you are single, you got a whole 12 months to get out there, to mix and to mingle and to do your thing, or as Nadiya likes to say, to get your flirt on, right? This is great for that. Whether it's personal, professional, or platonic, your interactions with other people and any contracts that you gain are absolutely growing. They bring in blessings and abundance. If you're partnered, married, or in a long-term commitment, this is beautiful. This is not only adding more pleasurable energy to your relationship, it's helping you and your partner really get on that same level to look at what our future is going to be. So lightness, expansion, and growth is happening here. I love this for you and your partner, helping each other accumulate what you need on a practical level to really go for, you know, the personal dream, right? Now, if there are contracts to sign, this ensures that you get a great deal, but it's great for everybody involved. Remember, Jupiter is integrity and all of the like, so always keep your dealings with people above board. Don't try to game the system or cheat anybody out of anything. Keep it on that even, fair keel, and the blessings will just flow and flow and flow. Now, as ruler of your 2nd house of money, finances, and resources, Jupiter here is bringing value and wealth, and it could potentially bring a lot of opportunities to enhance your growth and to enhance your wealth and grow your wealth through other people, through your connections to other people, and especially through people that you love to be around, like through people that really resonate at that same level, energy, and frequency as you, like people that you just feel good with. Now, as the ruler of your 5th house, there are lucky connections coming in here with children. If you don't have children or work with them, then this could be creative connections and projects. And it's also opportunities to get ahead through other people and the people that you're connected to. And creative partnerships are absolutely blessed at this time. For this, you have the Lovers card. You literally just can't make it up, right? I think this is great. The fact that this is a 7th house transit and you've got the Lovers card. Love, relationships, partnerships. These are the milk and the sucker of the next 12 months for you guys. That's where you're going to find your greatest strength, is through connections with other people. And if you're single, this transit will ensure that you're not by the time it's done. If you're partnered, it's just going to go from strength to strength to strength. For Sagittarius, your ruling planet, this for you is happening in the 6th house. Now, this is important for you because obviously Jupiter is in the 6th house for sure, but it's in, you know, it's your ruling energy. So you know about this, you know how to do these Jupiterian things. It's going to help you accumulate and improve everything that you have. Now, given that the 6th house is the body, it's a maintenance house, right? It's how we maintain all of the things that we have worth and value in that we want to keep. Now, because it's in the 6th house, the 1st house and the 6th house, when it comes to Jupiter transits, have the potential to expand, you know, the waistline. So just something to be mindful of. It is also vital that over this next 12 months, you really look after your physical health and well-being. And also this transit will absolutely help you do this. Jupiter is an energy of healing after all. So this could be as well for some of you, maybe you decide to go sort of bigger, bolder. Like if I'm going to do it, let's do it. Maybe you decide to get absolutely jacked if you're a guy. Maybe you decide to go vegan. Maybe you decide to go keto. Something that is sort of bigger and broader. And you know what? I'm just going to do this. Like this feels like the right step for me. So I'm going in that direction. It could be that you start training for a marathon. Maybe you decide to go hike at one of the Himalayan mountains, right? And so that's a whole journey in and of itself before you even get to doing the climbing, right? All of the training and stuff that goes into it. Whatever it is, you know, your ruler Jupiter, just like yourself, does it big. All right. So I love this for you guys. Being a Sagittarius, this could be that you find a way to give yourself more freedom, more liberation on a daily level, right? To expand and to grow what you need in order to maintain your happiness and your own equilibrium. I love this for higher perspectives on what health actually means to you, especially for gaining new knowledge, new wisdom, new insight about that whole sort of health, fitness, etc. If you've got, you know, if you're so inclined, this could be new pets, maybe even for some of you, a new horse, or maybe you decide to start learning horse riding, etc. Because the sixth house is pets. Animals can be especially healing for all of us anyway, but this transit could make that even more so for you. So this being maintenance, how you maintain all that you have. Jupiter is demanding that integrity, so putting everything in its right place. Any challenges in that workspace, smooth off. Maybe you gain favor from bosses or teachers. Potentially as well, maybe you even have a moment where somebody who was one of your challenges or challengers, should I say, suddenly becomes an ally, right? Totally possible with this. Now, as the ruler of your first house, your body and your health are going to be very, right? Because this rules your, it's happening in your sixth house and Jupiter rules your first house. This could really be very focused on the body. This could be radical changes to the body, the face, the diet, and your fitness. I think it will probably be all of the above, but in ways that feel like, yeah, you know what, this is what I want for myself. As the ruler of your fourth house, it's possible that Jupiter could bring children or expand your home. It might also be something like a renovation that you do. So, and potentially one that you're either very heavily involved in or very excited about, right? Like this, yes, this is amazing. Maybe you put, you know, maybe you're putting a gym in your home. Maybe you're putting an office where you work with other people as a personal trainer in your home, or your own therapy room, or, you know, something along those lines. Uh, okay, now you're just playing with us, Tower. You got the Wheel of Fortune, which is literally one of your cards because you are Jupiter ruled, right? And this is that. This is going to be a lucky transit for you. And I actually feel like, especially for those of you that have had challenges with health, chronic health situations or problems or issues with or through the workplace, you could see, like, remember what I said right at the beginning? We're never always down and we're never always up. So this is you absolutely on that ascent to a next level. Very exciting. So for Capricorns, you are another of the lucky ones. So I know my dear Capricorns out there are ready for more joy, for more fun, for more laughter. I also know that you are one of the lucky ones, right? Literally, Jupiter represents the energy of luck. The fifth house is the lucky energy within the chart. So being in a fellow earth sign as well, this is offering a trine energy to you. So this is harmonious energy flow pouring into your sign from Jupiter in Taurus this whole 12 months, right? It's beautiful. I think this is going to be really that you do have the luck of the universe on your side over this next year. Now, I have two Capricorn sisters. I had a Capricorn grandfather. I dated 3 Capricorns. I know you guys. I understand you guys. And I've a somewhat biased love, I guess, for my Capricorns, you know, because we're both Saturnian beings in a sense. Now, lucky breaks, connections, past opportunities, doors open, paths are smoothed over, creative ideas and personal projects just absolutely work. They just work. People get it. They love it. They see it. And it really helps you soar. I don't need to tell the hardest working sign of the zodiac that you need to lean into it, that you've got to do something with it, because you know, work. Capricorn is what we call here in the UK, like Capricorn is a grafter. What we mean by that here in the UK, if you're common as muck like me, is a grafter is somebody that will just relentlessly work, right? Like they know how to get in, roll their sleeves up, get in, do the job, and then get out. Now, Jupiter is light and vision and laughter. The fifth house is joy, pleasure, romance, children. It's even gambling. So I urge many of you as well, take a calculated, proportional risk here and there. Play the lottery. Put 50 bucks on a horse, right? Not the house, the wife, the car, and the kids. Do you know what I mean? Like, just, you know, take it when you feel lucky or you feel that kind of, the wind's at my back today. When you've got that pep in your step, play, you know, put some numbers down. You just never know. This could really, you know, mend a connection. If you've had problems, challenges, or issues with your children, if you have them, this could go a very long way to healing those connections between you and your children, if you've got them, could be an immense, and I mean an immense source of joy at this time. As the ruler of your third house, local connections and also siblings could be very lucky for you right now. They could help you exponentially, actually. So if you're looking to learn a new skill, this provides exactly what you need. And it's like something that you love. Once you start learning it, just absolutely takes off. It just feels good. It feels right. And you're like, yeah, this is fun. As the ruler of your 12th house, he's bringing a powerful past connection back into your world, right? So this could see you getting ahead, possibly bring in prophetic dreams, or, you know, maybe 5 of them your way. It could be ideas that come to your mind fully formed that just require you to act. Your card is the 2 of Cups. So your message is basically don't go it alone, right? You know, the old African proverb that says, if you want to go quick, go on your own. If you want to go far, go with others. Partner up, buddy up, get connected, right? Have fun, bring the joy, bring the love and the romance back in. If your relationship has been lacking that, you've got 12 months to really bring that in, right? If you're single, right, this is the chance to date, to remember what it was to feel weak in the knees over someone, and, you know, googly eyed and all of that kind of stuff. So for my fellow Aquarians, Aquarius, this is happening for you in the 4th house of home, property, real estate, family. You are my sun sign brothers and sisters, so I got big love for my Aquarians. This will bring a happiness into the home. It's going to likely see you improving your home. If you've been looking to purchase a home, this is absolutely giving you the energy that you need. It's likely that this will be bringing a home that you've been searching for, that sense of peace, that sense of liberty and freedom that comes from, you know, being in a space where you feel good. It could see you just feeling much better within the space that you live in. It will likely expand your home as well. So this could be through new children. Doesn't have to be your own. It could be, you know, children that come into the family in that way. It could also help you heal your family. If you've had, you know, rifts, wounds, traumas from or through the family, there's absolutely a chance here for something to be mended, spoken about, or addressed. And it's like, this is the time to do it. This next 12 months, you and your family and your people could become closer than ever, maybe. As Taurus is all about accumulation and Jupiter is about abundance, this could bring money to the home. It could also bring a home that you desire. So this could be a chance for you to work in real estate or property. It's also mending an actual home. So if you've had like a problem or an issue that's been persistent within the house, or the home that you live in, this could be the one that helps you get it fixed. And it's like, once it's done, it's done. You right? Maybe you get the best of everything. Now, as the ruler of your 2nd house, a great sense of self-worth and value is coming in, and it's helping you accumulate the money that you need. Whether this is from a personal business or your job is kind of irrelevant, to be fair. If you work from home, if you work with homes, especially if you've got a home-based business or anything like that, this is going to be great for you. Now, as the ruler of your 11th house, the community connections that you need to build strong or to grow strong, or even it's coming to like a stronger sense of community. And maybe that's the familial stuff that's coming in here. It might also provide you with great gains from your career. It might help you to build towards a big dream, right? The 11th house is higher goals, aspirations, and dreams. Things that we envision for our future that you're like, you know, that's what I want. That's where I want to be in life. The benefactors that we need is also the 11th house. So this could be somebody that comes in, maybe that you meet through your, because it's Jupiter's in the 4th house, right? But it's the ruler of the 11th. So this could be a family member or, you know, a sibling's husband or, you know, friend or whatever it might be, could introduce you to somebody that really helps you achieve a big goal or dream. And for this, you have the 9 of Wands. Okay, so not the easiest of cards, but what this does suggest is whatever wounds, challenges, or issues you've had that have come through the family, you have a chance now not only to acknowledge them, but to heal them. And by acknowledging where it is that maybe we've felt hurt, maybe we've felt slighted or whatever, we remove the blockage that has held us back or down so that we can go after what it is that we really truly want in that space. All right. If you've had, like I said, challenging stuff with or around a family member, that card does suggest that there could, you know, once you air it out, there could be some good that comes from it. And then finally, last but never least, my dearest Pisces, this is your ancient ruling planet. You have an affinity with the big guy because this is your ancient ruler, right? I do believe he is absolutely going to bless you. I see this as an expansion or a prominence within your job because the 3rd house is the 6th house is like your daily grind. The 3rd house is your commute, and it's the, you know, it's all the websites that you use and the paperwork and the filing and, you know, all of the stuff. Right. But I do see this as growth within your job, gaining new skills, some kind of learning that you do on the job is coming in. And it means that your skill set is expanding here. And it's like you're maybe even, it allows you more recognition. I love this for helping you shine, right? You are at your best when you're able to think on your feet and be creative. The 3rd house is busy, busy, busy energy anyway, right? Which tells me that this is going to be a very busy year for you indeed. Many opportunities to socialize, to interact with people, to meet people from different walks of life, to connect with people who further your career and also your legacy. And since Jupiter is teachers, learning, and even foreign connections, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you changed your location. I wonder if this brings a lighter energy to your work because of, you know, the way that things are set up. Now, as the ruler of your 11th house of career, your 10th house of social status, your career, your legacy out in the world, there's a definite sense here that your profile is raising in some way. I'm talking promotions, a personal business, maybe you are becoming a go-to for something in your field. And as the ruler of your 1st house, there's a powerful cohesion here, right? And Jupiter brings cohesion, it really does. Venus does the balancing act, right? She'll bring the diplomacy and the harmony, but Jupiter brings the cohesion, right? It allows you to synthesize a greater sense of self because it rules your 1st house. And there's a sense that your new skills or brushing up your old skills are actually helping you remember who the heck you are and absolutely thrive on it. So if you've got siblings, a sibling could help here. If you don't, then neighbors or people who are as close as siblings to you could absolutely help you in this process. And because the 3rd house rules cars, this could be an upgrade to your whip, honey. So there's the theatrical side of me coming out. I apologize. And your card is the 9 of Cups. Look at that. Wishes fulfilled. If you want interviews, if you want promotions, if you want something about your work life and your job, or even your connections to come good, this card basically says it is absolutely on its way. So for those of you that have got an interview to change a job, an industry, or a career over this next 12 months, you are going to be so happy when it does. So with that said, thank you all so much for being, being here, being present and watching this presentation. I really hope that it speaks to you, that it helps you prepare for what is truly going to be a wonderful transit for all of us. So all of Nadiya and her team, and obviously all of you, the friends, fans, and superstars, it's been amazing to be a part of this. Thank you so much. Take care, and I'll see you soon.